Friday morning here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in Hall C of the David L. Lawrence Convention Center, and I'm pleased to let you all know that the dinosaurs have not invaded this particular hall just yet, but I have purchased my ticket to Jurassic Quest for this. I know. It is just amazing. Welcome to the SIGCSE Coffee Break show about everything going on at the SIGCSE Technical Symposium. My name is Mark Sherriff.
I'm Alvaro Monjes.
And here's Manuel.
But
Where did he go?
is he doing one of those things again where he's like just going on
I think
make his presence known?
I think he thinks he's too good for us now. I mean, we
don't have a fireside.
We don't have a fireside.
No. Something to warm him up.
We will have to think of something to get him back here. We've been doing the show, the three of us, every SIGCSE since 2020. And now that he's the award winner, the service award winner, he's just too good for us.
He's too good for us.
He's too good for us.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe he'll show up?
It's a sad thing. With him, you never know.
With him, you never know,
Yes.
huh? All right.
Paparazzi might just, keep him away.
Well, in honor of, I feel like the way that I'm pointing at the broadcast screen here.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm showing that Manuel is this microphone. He's way more handsome than that. But the folks that are tuning in, we do have to let you know still what is going on right now, particularly for our folks joining us in hybrid and online land. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. Hopefully you enjoyed watching. You might still be watching. That might be why maybe you're not even watching us yet. And I'm just talking to, let me look at the count. There's one person. Hi.
Hey.
Because, it sounded like they were going a little long upstairs.
They were.
It is upstairs. It is technically upstairs.
Yes,
yeah,
it's
it is upstairs
and over
that way.
Yeah.
But it was a really great talk. The discussion, I guess, more than talk.
It was. I mean, it's great to hear from three award winners, to be honest. And Dan Garcia, I mean, himself also somebody that's got a lot of recognition, to hear them talk about the future of CS education.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. And we are both big fans of Dan Garcia, just as a general rule.
Oh, yeah.
And he was very much Dan Garcia-ing up there, where he went up to I'm going to plug into this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm like, yep, that's Dan Garcia. Great man, great guy. Anyway, so let's talk about what's coming up today. If you are joining us in hybrid at 10:45, theorizing and researching class for broadening participation in computing efforts. So oops.
A pain.
A pain.
It's pronounced pain.
Yeah. Sorry. It's a panel. It is a panel, so we have that coming up. It looks like that's the only option right now at the 10:45. Again, make sure you're checking your email from the hybrid chairs. They have all the Zoom links and passwords that you need in order to join the various sessions, so make sure you're taking a look at that. There is nothing at noon today for our online friends. I mean, yesterday was the first timers talk with Ben and Lena, which was great. That was fantastic. But at 1:45, revising programs to align with computer science curricula 2023.
Is lunch even on the program? I looked.
Not for us.
It's not on the program itself.
No.
So I think
there's the global lunch. But
at 12:45, there's then there's only a 45-minute gap for some of us.
That's true. At 12:45, because the Hispanics in computing BOF is at 12:45, which I think is supposed to be like a lunching BOF kind of thing.
They didn't tell us.
They didn't tell you.
I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, sure. We're back here at 3 o'clock for the next coffee break show, where we're going to be talking with Adrian Decker about the SIGCSE elections, the SIGCSE board elections that happen every 3 years. So it's really interesting to hear how that process works. At 3:45, there is an online paper session on techniques. That is a purely online session. So support your other online colleagues and be at that session to see their presentation. The other thing that's going on at 3:45 today, which is unfortunately only in person, but is something that I'm sure the chairs want to get all opinions on, are the use of LLMs that we've saw with reviews. Yeah, as a former program chair, do you have any big feelings about this and how we could?
I didn't hear much about what went on, but I mean, as with all tools, there is a use for them,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we want reviewers who have that knowledge, right, from either publishing or from having written a paper, right, from having done the research themselves, or that's who we want the reviews to come from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you have thoughts on that, I know that, so James Prather was making one of the program chairs for next year was making a call for that during the plenary this morning. So you can reach out to him, you can reach out to any of the program chairs, and also to the SIGCSE board and to the Technical Symposium Steering Committee. So those are the other two things that are happening this evening. 5:10 p.m. is the SIGCSE board meeting. That is always virtual also because we want to make sure everyone can hear what's going on. You'll hear about the budget. You'll hear more about the election there too, probably, and just kind of everything else that's going on.
Time for Q&A as well.
And there is always time for Q&A there. And then, the Technical Symposium Steering Committee meeting afterwards. So, yeah, cool. Well, we just saw Dan Garcia walk by. So that means Manuel might have entered the room, might have entered the building. Now, what I think is important is for you to know the level of information that's needed in order to nominate someone for this award. As a matter of fact, when we do that, we can look right here. This is the letter of support. Letter of support from Manuel Perez Quiñones, from Pam Cutter, Sarah Heckman, Alvaro, myself, and John Zhang, SIGCSE board members. Manuel is awesome. We're also awesome. So you should totally listen to us and select Manuel for the award. The end. That's how you do it.
That's the letter that was referenced by Manuel.
Totally, we didn't edit that at all. Okay, so, I mean, yes, obviously we're being silly here. We did expand a little bit.
A few more words, yes.
A few more words. But I don't know. I thought,
but we didn't embellish. I mean, it was all honest.
It was all honest.
Yeah.
All honest.
Well deserved. Yeah.
Very well deserved. Very well deserved.
Yeah. Is he ever going to? I mean, I
don't know. I don't know. He's been swarmed by his adoring fans. We might have to just soldier on without him.
He's left the building.
He's left.
He's like,
so actually, while we are waiting for him, tell us about the Hispanics in Computing organization and also the BOF this afternoon.
And a museum trip that we have planned. Yeah.
What is it?
So so the BOF 1245 is for the Hispanics in computing community. So it's a great place for especially those that are new to the symposium, new to the CSET community, who are either allies of Hispanics or have come from a Hispanic background, to come and meet up. It's really more or less of a meetup to support each other, to answer questions and just to kind of do a lot more networking. And yeah, we're doing a trip organized by Manuel himself to the Roberto Clemente Museum.
Of course. Yeah, we heard all about that during the talk today.
Yes, we did. So that should be an awesome trip. I had not heard the story that Manuel actually shared on stage, so I was touched by everything that he shared with that.
Yeah, it was. I got video of it.
Nice.
So I can share that with him because he definitely was choking up a little bit.
Yeah.
Which
He was
I
speaking from the heart. Yeah.
can completely understand that. So
Yes. So that should be pretty exciting to honestly to get to see that.
That will be absolutely. Well, so we are thrilled. Hey, Cecilia, we're gonna go ahead. We are absolutely thrilled to have joining us today as our guest Cecilia Aragon, just come on in. I mean, the names are the names.
Okay,
It's totally
so-
fine. Yeah, this
All
is
right, I'll
fine.
be Alvaro.
You'll be Alvaro. And Manuel, just all. I can't do this dynamically, I'm afraid. I can't, like, change up the names.
Music.
All right.
How's that?
Sort of dance. There we
Does that
go.
work?
That's good.
That worked
Sounds great. I'm
So, thank you so much for your keynote yesterday. We were talking about it on the show yesterday at 10 a.m. Just about. It was one of those kind of impact moments where a lot of us were sitting there like, oh gosh, yes, because we're all, yes, no, I mean,
It's always good. You didn't fall asleep then.
no. As a matter of fact, you probably weren't, you didn't, obviously, get to watch Zoom chat as your talk was going. And the number of people who were saying, I could listen to this talk for another hour. No, I'm dead serious, that was there. And another one that, a quote that was put up there that hit me and hit a lot of people was the, I want AI to do the laundry and dishes while I do the art versus the other way around. And, you know, people are just like, oh, yes, you know, likes.
That's a good comment.
Yeah.
I need an AI to do my dishes. I mean, boy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, could you tell us just about your journey in computing and how you got to kind of where you
Do you want the
are?
long story or the short story?
Well, this is a 30-minute
You gotta
show.
fill in for Manuel. So.
Well, you get 2 hours.
There you go.
Well, so my journey was very non-traditional because I actually dropped out of my PhD program because I thought I wasn't smart enough to get a PhD.
Wow.
And it didn't help that one of my professors said, oh, women don't have the intellectual ability for computer science.
Excuse me. Ay, Dios mío. See? I practiced. Okay.
Now you're being Manuel.
Yeah, I'm trying.
So I took a long leave and worked in industry, learned a lot, but I still always wanted to do research and teach because that was always my goal. I just thought I wasn't going to be qualified because I heard, oh, there's 400 people applying for every faculty position. I'm never going to be good enough to do that. So
It crushes me every time I hear stories like that because I think all of us as teachers have seen students that we just know that there is that spark and you know that someone has stomped on them at some point, and it is a fulfilling moment when hopefully you can try and reignite it to some bit and to say
Yes.
no. You can find your passion.
that's right. And you know how I did it, all right? So I did something very non-traditional. I realized that what was stopping me was fear. I was just so afraid of everything. I was afraid of getting a PhD. It brought back my childhood where I was bullied, and I was actually beaten into unconsciousness once, if you can believe it. Yeah. And they called me racial epithets. And so I realized long afterwards, I thought that succeeding in computer science was risking my life. I know that's totally not rational. But so I knew I needed to do something to overcome this irrational fear. So what did I do? I decided to learn to fly airplanes, and not just fly them straight and level. I learned to fly them loops and rolls and spins, and I ended up competing in aerobatic competition, and I won a place on the U.S. aerobatic team.
Oh my gosh!
I was the first Latina to represent our country at the World Aerobatic Championship.
Yeah.
And I'm the proudest moment of my life. So my parents are both immigrants, and they spoke with very thick accents, and that caused difficulties in our small town.
Sure.
I mean, I won't go into the details.
What area of the country?
In the Midwest.
The Midwest. Okay.
But so anyway, I was standing up there on the podium as they played the national anthem, you know, kind of the Olympics of aviation. And my parents were there in the audience. I could see tears coming down their face because here their child was representing their adopted country. And it was a real proud moment for them and for me as well. So that was amazing.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. Just wow.
Yeah. After flying upside down and diving at the ground at 250 miles an hour, I realized I wasn't scared anymore. I could do anything, even getting a PhD in computer science.
Now you're ready to teach first year CS1. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I did.
That is amazing.
You know, it shouldn't have to take somebody to have to learn how to fly to build that grit. I think we should be able to do better than that.
I'm always just. I'm always astonished and amazed, and the words don't come to me, with people who can find their path through so many different types of careers or different types of experiences. Because I guess because I finished my PhD, I was at IBM for a year, and I've just been teaching since then. And that's not like I'm trying to say like I'm boring or whatever, I guess, but just to hear how people have found their path is just so incredible.
Yes,
and there's these stories from our faculty colleagues. They don't fly, probably, but I mean, just here's some of these paths, and some could be some other of our colleagues in the Hispanics in computing, like Manuel's, who's not here still, but talk about coming from Puerto Rico and the challenges that he faced.
Right.
Yes.
And there are. I mean, it's one of those things that the Hispanic community, Native Americans, right, Black community. I mean, a lot of us are in cities, neighborhoods where, computer science is just not taught in that K through 12. So even to this day, we still don't have access, right? And that already
have to work to do that.
You have
and
to
so
work,
this is why I became a teacher. Because I realized as I went along that it only takes one voice.
Yeah.
So it takes one person to silence all those low expectations and those voices of people who don't think much of you. If one person believes in you, that's enough. And that's what gave me the courage to keep pushing on. And so now as a professor, I try to be that voice for my students. Tell them you can do this. If you're having difficulties in math or computer science, it's not you. It may be that the teaching isn't a good fit for you. It's not that we're bad teachers. We're, of course, brilliant teachers. But sometimes a teacher isn't a good fit for us.
No, of course not.
And so find somebody else. Find someone who's going to do the three things. Here are the three steps for teaching that I follow. All right.
Please.
And I've been on both sides of this. So number one is you set a high bar. All right. So I have a nice story about being a German language learner as a kid that I can tell you when we have time someday. But don't put people in remedial classes. Assume they can do really well. So that's one. You set a high bar. Then two, you tell them you can do it. I know that you can succeed in my class. I tell this to all my students. And then finally, three is if they're having difficulties, like if they miss some key mathematical concepts, I give them scaffolding.
Yeah.
And this is what happened. I have a wonderful story of A/B testing, of what it takes, what a good teacher will do, and how that makes a difference for students.
So one thing I know that a lot of us are struggling with when we're trying to make those relationships with students is just flat out scale. And particularly a place like Washington, in Northeastern, who has more teaching faculty than I have students in some classes. At UVA,
Yes.
Many of our colleagues are teaching in these very large classes. Do you have any thoughts on how do you even spot the students that?
Okay, that's a great question. So I know this is an unpopular view, but I think it's really important not to have large classes.
I don't think that's an unpopular view at all.
But so I have argued in my department for smaller classes.
Yeah.
I know it's not always possible because of budget cuts and all that, but So I like to teach in a class that has no more than 40 people so I can remember all their names. I don't have a really good memory, so
Yeah.
above 40, I'm not going to remember their names. The other thing that I finally realized too is the scale problem. I wanted to tell this message to more people than I could actually reach. And so what I did is I wrote a book. And the book is called Flying Free, My Victory Over Fear to Become the First Latina Pilot on the U.S. Aerobatic Team. And it's the story of that journey through overcoming fear and becoming a pilot. And it's written for the general public. So anybody who has struggled with fear or who's been discouraged can read it. And a lot of people tell me they find it very inspiring. You know, it's supposed to be an uplifting book. It's not like,
Oh, I mean,
this is, and I think it's an important message today because, you know, we're going to have bad times in the world. And and I want to show that it is possible to survive in bad times and even thrive. And the book kind of charts my path step by step. And people don't have to buy it. They can go to the library. It's in the library. It's everywhere.
the Amazon link will be in the show notes.
There you go. That's right.
Yeah, I don't want to, you know.
No, yeah.
Right, I don't want to push. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I think it's important to keep fighting. Actually, you know. And somebody asked me a question in the keynote, and I want to repeat the answer today because I think it's something that's very important for students. When they say, what can I do today that might make a difference? And what I say is, first of all, do the difficult thing. Do the scary thing. Don't take the easy path. Because if you do the difficult thing early on, your life will be a lot easier later on. And also do the non-traditional thing. You know, so I was told,
Like flying.
Like flying, yeah.
Yeah,
Women are
that's not-
supposed to be pilots. We're not supposed to be computer science professors. But you know what? Those are both great careers.
There you go.
And so now when you take up MMA fighting in the ring as your next
No, my next challenge is being the CEO, the CTO of a startup. And that's another thing. There's not a lot of women doing that. So, hey, I'm doing the non-traditional thing, and I'm having a great time.
oh my god.
Amazing.
When was the last time you were in a plane? Not flying here, obviously, but you were flying.
Oh, the last time, 3 days ago.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Still doing the.
Yeah, I teach.
Oh, you do?
I mean,
Oh.
teaching is my passion, right? Obviously. And so I teach people how to fly, and I specialize in teaching
Oh, okay.
who are afraid of flying. They can overcome their fears. And
See, I'm just picturing an instance where I like catch a student in an honor violation, but I don't tell them, like, hey, let's go for a flight. I'm like, so what did you do in the last quiz? Put it into, what are you doing? Admit it, you know, that sort of, I don't know.
I try not to scare my students.
So maybe I have big feelings right now because I had a quiz right before I left and I caught some, let's say, questionable behavior on it.
boy.
There's one thing at the front of my head. Anyway, that's
Yeah.
But to answer your question, I mean, how do you do something like what you're saying, not scale? To me, it's got to be not just the instructor, it's got to be like the advising team. It's got to be, you know, this culture, right? That's got to be built on the campus and in the program to actually support students.
Yes.
Through the advising, through the teaching, but through classmates, but still holding people up to like the
High
high
standards.
standards,
Yes.
the academic integrity, like all of that. But
But it's not a
one
weed out.
faculty. Yeah, no. And
It's
one faculty
everybody can succeed.
doesn't do it alone. It's
No,
gotta
one
be.
faculty can't. It's just,
Hey.
but you know,
Look who's here. Oh my.
Oh my.
Are we gonna be? Oh, we are. We have the pleasure of his presence.
we're not.
We're not. No. Well, were they for a few minutes?
No.
So sorry.
Oh,
Come on.
Are you really?
We kid.
Congratulations.
Are you really going to
Get a
be
little
sorry
bit.
for this?
Get a little bit.
Hang on.
I'm sorry that I
Warm
got
up.
stuck. So
No. I really. Hang on. I need to get the right board
You
up
got
because
it.
right now it's us three, and so
Yeah.
let's get this right.
wait, am I on there? Am I?
Okay. I'm there. All right.
So make sure we get this right.
Oh, man. Thank you.
Well, congratulations. We've been having a lovely conversation about Cecilia's journey. Do you have any immediate questions you'd like to now be
I didn't know what you asked her already. But,
Yeah, get closer to the mic,
get
though.
closer to the mic.
Let's get all up here, friendly. There we go.
Yeah.
I mean, how? You
discussing your
first
journey.
Latina full professor
At the
at the
University
university.
of Washington in the College of Engineering.
That's quite a bit, but aerobatic.
Yep.
Yeah.
We covered that already.
We talked about aerobatics.
Yeah.
I was actually,
And that was CTO. She's now
yeah, I'm a
CTO of a startup.
CTO of a startup.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
that. That's
Yeah.
the new. Yeah.
Yeah. We're the eBay of travel, of event travel.
Oh,
Yeah, you like to have a stinger, right? That's
I
like
do.
it's like
Yeah.
this is what we're doing.
Right.
Yeah, that's great.
But
Which
I did to answer the question about how to scale computer science.
Right.
All right. So I want to talk a little bit about what I think the University of Washington does really well. Is they have a great advising team. As you know, they take teaching very seriously. Teaching is really important. I think it's a big part of why our computer science department is one of the best in the country. And I want to say a personal story about a young woman that I knew who had some learning disabilities, and she was direct admitted as a computer science major, and then she flunked out of UW. And she was really sad and depressed about that, but she pulled it together. She got a job outside. She saved up money. She went to community college, got her grades up to straight A's, and then she wanted to come back in to the University of Washington. She was so worried they wouldn't let her back in. And you know what the advisors in the computer science department said? They said, once you're in the department, you're always part of the family.
Oh,
And she loved that so much.
Yeah.
It gave her such a feeling of belonging.
Yes.
And that is so important. She continued on. She re-entered. She pulled her grades up and she graduated.
wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what we need.
that is what we need.
Yeah. It's gotta be that culture as a college, as a university that's got this support system, and like you said, I mean, to have every student feel like they belong and are part of it, right?
And that requires not making the curriculum be, a chainsaw.
Right.
We're here to cut you in half. So,
I love what you said about the curriculum. I
do too, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely bloated, and
targeted now.
well, I'm glad you said it. I mean,
But see, I mean, if we compare computer science to another science, I mean, there's if we look at chemistry, we look at physics, we look at the things that they have been having to teach for so many years. But yet we are at a point where we are just now getting to, why are we teaching such low level stuff when we need to be teaching the higher level ideas and the impact and things like that? And I'm personally just afraid it's just going to take people retiring before we can do this, because there is so much institutional baggage isn't the right word, inertia maybe is the right word of trying to overcome.
My worry about that is that you look at the iSchools today, and the iSchools have a much bigger diversity faculty and student-wise, because HCI is over there, societal impact is over there, and all these things. So yes, that's true, but in the time to get there, all the people that are different are going somewhere else.
Yeah.
So if we only keep hiring the person that's going to compute P versus MP, that's all we're going to do. I mean, I'm all for theoretical constructs,
Yeah.
but I don't think we can build a major as big as computing is on that. That's gotta be a tiny thing, and there's a bunch of stuff around it that is also important. I didn't say this at the talk, but a while back I looked at the history of engineering education, engineering in academia.
Yeah.
And almost always there were big societal changes. Like after the Civil War, there were new roads to be constructed. Civil engineering factor off what engineering was. Later, with the war and the bomb, chemical engineering sort of veered off. And they were all for engineering, but they all had their own identity by separating into separate degrees, separate departments, separate programs. And that kept engineering growing, but not one monolithic department.
Right.
And we have not been able to do that because this is not computer science. If you specialize in languages, you're not computer science. Or if you specialize in HCI, you're not computer science. It's like, yeah, we are. We're just different flavors of it.
I feel like the first phase of that are the schools that have a software engineering degree and a CS degree trying to separate practical from theoretical. It needs to be more than that, but I feel like that, just like chemical engineering, physics, and electrical engineering, that there's some little bit there, but I mean, your point is...
Yeah, I think that movement, we were talking about this earlier, I think that movement, in my opinion, sort of died because it was closely tied to the professional engineering degree. The idea of software engineering was you're going to take an exam like the electrical and the chemical or whatever. Yeah. And that never materialized. No. And as a result, then software engineering sort of crumbled and it didn't quite continue growing as a separate.
That's fair. That's fair.
But I mean, it's, yeah, I don't have the answer. I just know it's a problem.
I told him a little bit about the museum that we're going to go see.
Yes.
So,
Clemente Museum.
yes.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
We really thank you. Not only just joining us here, but thank you for joining us here at SIGCSE this year at the Technical Symposium. I need to get better at that still, because
Your opening keynote was amazing. Oh my God, it was amazing.
I really appreciate
Oh,
it,
jeez.
especially from you.
Yeah. Oh, come on. You've been hanging around with it.
there we go. Let's get it back. Let's get it back.
No.
Oh, yes.
But yeah,
Maybe we need to leave.
No.
but yeah, it was a real honor to be invited here to give the keynote, and I've loved every minute of the conference. So
Well, we hope this is not the last time we see you here, because the one thing I will say is I think that the SIGCSE community at large is one of the more welcoming academic communities, just in general, because we basically all come here and we're all exceptionally tired from teaching, and all we want to do is talk about how hard our classes are. And so it really is just, it's more of a support group at this point in the year than it is conference. That's why the open bar at the reception is so popular. So anyway, all right. Well, let's make sure that our online friends know what all still is coming up. Remember that at 10:45, which is in about 5 minutes, you can jump over to the panel, the pane, because I didn't Photoshop too good on that one, I'm afraid. The pane, on theorizing, researching, class for broadening participation goes hand in hand what we've been talking about. The 145 session on the 2023 curricula, come, show up, just say everything Manuel said about how we just rip it to shreds, and then come back at 3 o'clock so we can talk to Adrian Decker about the SIGCSE board elections, and you know how that process works, how you can vote in the election, which I think the notifications will go out probably in April, I say, making up a date. That sounds right?
Adrian will tell you.
Adrian will tell you. It'll go to your ACM email address. And then, of course,
vote. We know what happens when you don't.
Yes.
Oh boy!
What did you say? What happened?
As I said earlier, adios mio. So, thank you so much for joining us. We hope to see you back here at 3 o'clock. We hope you're enjoying joining us online. Take care. Be safe. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.